this is actually, so this topic is CPaaS and AI, and it's a very interesting because, as we know, AI is a wild, wild west, and I can throw everything but the kitchen sink on the question. It could be anything you can answer. It will make sense to us all because I think part of it is trying to predict the crystal ball and where this AI is heading is still a big challenge, I think, for me at least. However, here we have an excellent panel. I mean, we have two startup entrepreneurs out of Silicon Valley, David and Roddy. David is with, let me just make sure I have my notes here. David is with a co-founder with deCH.at. Is that how I pronounce it right, David? deCH.at, okay, deCH.at. And Roddy, you're a founder and CEO of Zabit. And Ashok, who flew all the way from India for this session, thank you very much. And he's the founder and CEO of Twixor. So I guess before I kind of kick off this last panel, this session, we've heard so much noise, so much hype. ChatGPT just being valued at $150 billion. I can throw in numbers. Vodafone and Google just announced a $1 billion partnership. I think people are just throwing money, with all the AI initiatives out there. So, but I think I want to kind of make sure that we kind of, get into some reality and focus on what we think is hype versus real and what we think is achievable and what, customers and enterprise and operators and the telecom ecosystem should focus in the next 6 to 1 year in terms of bringing, CPaaS and AI and, maybe what we can say about converting, transforming messaging from what they are today, taking RCS into the picture, the omni-channel, and bringing that to some real use cases. So I think we have, you guys are visionaries in this space. We have, Ashok, who's done some tremendous work. So maybe to start off, David, tell me about what you guys are doing and, the stuff that exciting that what we should be following on in the coming months. Yeah.
So yes, definitely. I mean, well, first of all, I moved from Google, managing RCS. Before that, I was doing WhatsApp. So I was seeing clearly the path of the conversational messaging space. And in my last year at Google, I was trying just to combine Gemini and Vertex AI with RCS. So I clearly saw an opportunity by talking to customers and talking to brands about how with generative AI, we could start having a much more human-like and personalized communications between the brands and their customers. In particular, our vision is to help brands to create those type of use cases that help them to engage with their customers in different type of situations. Think about the customer journey, from the moment that they discovered your brand to the moment that they buy your products to the moment that they continue the engagement with you. There are many, many multiple use cases. And in our case, the vision is helping those brands to build, we call AI agents, and expose them to conversational channels. A very interesting aspect is we are seeing that messaging is one of the biggest areas, but obviously there is another big area that is happening at the same time, which is going to be voice. So basically we are working on the text and voice space. And just to give you some cases, for example, we are working with some influencers to replicate their way of talk to their customers and being able just to give them more hands to talk with more customers, with more fans at a scale, without losing that type of philosophy of engaging with them as a real human, a real person, right?
Well, good stuff. So maybe I'll move to Roddy, founder and CEO of Zabit. Roddy, what are you guys working on? What's happening? Yeah.
So I'm working on kind of two things. So there's Zabit, which is a health coaching service which combines AI coaches and human coaches. And the idea is that the AI coach will provide the sort of routine check-ins, messaging that's kind of transactional. And the humans are there to provide that sort of human element, whether it's sending videos or images and kind of more kind of human conversation. And health is a really interesting application because people really want to, I think people still want to see a doctor, not like an AI doctor. But there's a role for AI and these kind of automation technology to play as well. And so there's that service I'm building, but also a kind of the more generalizable backend that can support these sort of applications where you have AI agents as well as human agents collaborating together to provide some kind of service. And that's really the kind of bigger opportunity that I see out there. Is like there's a lot of standalone chatbot applications out there. Those will get better as the kind of models, generative AI models get better. There's a lot of existing conversational messaging applications that are human to human, person to person. And the opportunity there is to like add AI elements to like make those conversations more efficient, make the human agents more efficient, provide a better quality of service. So I think more and more, it's not going to be like the AI agents are going to replace the humans in a lot of these use cases. It's going to be integrating AI agents and human agents together, and do that in a way that is natural. And building a stack to kind of support that I found it wasn't like super easy. So I think as I think brands are going to find out, as we've seen with these cases like Southwest or was it Air Canada that like had a chatbot that started hallucinating and advertising like discounts that didn't exist. There needs to be some kind of human element, like whether it's auditing or fallback or there to kind of backstop. So I think there's some interesting opportunities there in the next 6 to 12 months.
Okay, I'll get back to some of the theme that you guys are presenting here, but I want to go to Ashok and ask about Twixor, because I think you guys are actually producing a solution. You're offering it to the marketplace. It's AI, chatbot, conversation, and there are some real use cases that enterprise can utilize today. So tell me about Twixor and what's exciting that's happening there. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we at Twixor build everything on top of the channels, right? Let's take RCS here, because RCS is the most exciting story out in the US now. So RCS by itself is a pipe, and the telcos are providing the pipe, right? There is a lot that needs to be done on top of it to actually make it productive. In fact, we are working with Gemini to build campaigns. So AI in this ecosystem is used in many places, right? It is used in the operator and regulatory systems to identify the template is valid, and so on, right? Once it comes to the bot platform itself or the CPaaS platform, what is required is AI operates at multiple levels. One is today it can actually prepare your campaigns. It can design your rich cards. All you have to give it is a brief, and it will design your campaigns, decide your target customer set, run the campaign. It can measure your campaign. It can also trigger the next set of campaigns. All you have to give it is, I need 100 leads or 1,000 leads. It is going to do this whole thing cyclically and get you the target. That's one area where AI can be used, and it is being used today. And then comes the engagement. Once you're on your campaigns, the pipe is allowed you to reach out to your customers. And regulator permitting you reach the particular number, then you have to engage with the customer. Today, we are seeing two very predominant use cases, or three rather, in this area, right? One is pre-sales. The AI can explain your product and actually make a sale. And then AI also can operate in the support area. Suppose customer comes in with a problem. The AI systems can actually resolve the problem with the knowledge base it has. And third is where it can engage the customer in actually a commerce sale. You can build a shopping cart, make a payment, and actually finish a transaction. So these are three areas we are seeing, and we work with a lot of well-known retailers in our geography and also in the US. We do metro rail ticket bookings, we do movie ticket bookings, sports arena ticket bookings, insurance purchases, banking, healthcare. The use cases goes on. We have around 1,000 use cases we have built based on customer requirements. So, and then we have built a marketplace out of it with the knowledge we have gained. And that's what we do at Twixor.
Wonderful. So I want to go back to David on what you are working on. I think you talk about the managing customer engagement basically, and kind of taking that from pure omni-channel messaging today to the next level, correct? Yeah. Could you give me a bit more specific example of what could enterprise, like I'm trying to visualize this. What would be the use case or example that we can expect when this, when you launch it, 6 a year from now? What are these typical benefit ROI use cases for enterprise? I would imagine enterprise. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like we are targeting both enterprise and mid-market and small and medium businesses, although probably small and medium businesses will take longer time. Our dream is to help any small business to build their agents in a very easy and scalable way, because that's where the big value is, no? I mean, Dario mentioned about the high volume of small businesses that are in the US today, for example, 33 million, right? So, but when it comes to enterprises, I think that one thing is in a safe way, we can fine-tune and I wouldn't say train, but fine-tune the data, and that it can be used for them to engage with the customers at a scale. And for example, think about the idea like that you can upload your product catalog, and then a customer comes. I mean, you mentioned this, Ashok, already, about the idea that you start asking about a product, particularly, I mean, I have a problem with my skin, and it's like my skin is dry, and it's been burned by the sun, and then instead of the eventually sales assistant going and trying just to figure out something, it can come back with a real clear idea what the customer may be looking for. And using channels like RCS, you can even present those things in a catalog of 3 potential options that the customer can choose and eventually convert in a real clear sale, right? So it's like, and without any human intervention to some extent, obviously, because we do believe that, in 80% of the cases, probably in the future, the AI agent will take control of part of the conversation, but there's still a human in the loop in the other 20%.
Yeah, so I can see kind of a common theme there. I think there is the assistant, improving, increasing assistant, improving engagement, and also providing, maybe smart intelligence. And I thought, of course, back to your point, Roddy, about you are kind of like bringing the human element into, and kind of integrating AI and human, I guess, piece of it. So you're kind of balancing what part of it is human intervention and what part of it and what component of it is actually AI. So, and I think of course, I mean, there might be some. The whole, like, I would say, I mean, maybe you can explain to me, like, how will there's a lot of, like, more, is there a morality issue? Is there, like, some privacy? Or what would be the concern and opportunities around, kind of providing this kind of a unique human versus AI combination? Yeah.
Well, one thing I think about a lot is, like, what's the role in the future? What's the role of the human going to be, and what's the role of the AI going to be? And one thing that I'm definitely against is like AI lying to say that it's a human, right? So there's like laws that are on the books today in California, for instance, where you cannot. It's illegal for a bot to pretend to be a human for the purposes of sales or political persuasion. That was a law passed after 2016. And I mean, not many people know about it. I see lots of companies today that apparently don't know about it either because their services are completely would be illegal in California. But as these models get better and as the deepfakes get better, it's going to be easier and easier for people to be fooled by an AI pretending to be a human. It could be in messaging or in any other channel. It's probably impossible today. Probably in messaging, if you can't see their face or their video, or a video of them, you probably can't tell in many cases. So I think there's going to be a sweet spot where humans, are going to will have trusted identity that they are actually a human, and that trust needs to be passed through to the consumer. And where AI is present, there needs to be disclosure there. And again, the consumer should know that they're interacting with an AI. Like I said, there's state-level policies today, and I hope that those will expand. And if that's true, then you will see, I think, the sweet spot of these hybrid use cases where you have trusted human identity and trusted AI identity both collaborating together, instead of like AI sort of lying and pretending to be human.
Yeah, and I think that will be a conversation that we will continue to have, because I think that is still an ongoing maybe debate or understanding of where we fit in, human and versus AI, and where that balance is as we kind of go through this journey. And we don't have the answer. I don't have the answer. I don't know whether you guys have the answer, but I don't know. Maybe it's something that we'll have to. It's good that we are having this conversation around that. Now back to Ashok. I think I want to kind of come back to some. Okay, there's a future. There's some interesting things that we can anticipate to happen. Ashok, bring us down to the ground level. What can we do today? What does Twixor, from your perspective, from an enterprise engagement, from a conversation, if what use case, you mentioned something about the use case, can you give us a bit more clarity of if you, what enterprise are using today? Is it just purely for adding the chatbot conversation into the communication? Bring us back into some kind of if I were to, enterprise was okay, I want to start, benefiting from some of this AI technology. Obviously, what can they do? Yeah.
Absolutely. So fundamentally, where ROI can be measured is in support, right? Suppose you are running a huge call center. You could automate at least 50%, at least if you can achieve 50% of the conversations can be handled by a virtual agent. That is a lot of ROI you can achieve. And that's where we see enterprises benefiting at the moment. And of course, in certain transactional use cases, but where we see, and this is a Gartner prediction as well, they claim that 80% of the voice seats in 2 years' time will be converting to channel seats. It could be through RCS or it could be through other channels. Because that comes naturally and it is on your phone, it's on your face, you can avail your support. When that support can be provided without a human assist on the other side, at least for mundane things, right? There is where ROI is measured. And we see a lot of use cases moving towards that direction. And we see another area which is emerging. If you recently heard of a terminology called agentic AI, which means AI agentic means you give your intent into that mission. So you say that I'm going to go to Orlando. There are so many things which has to happen if you're going there. So it could understand you need a flight booking, you need a hotel booking, you need a rental car booking, you may be going to a theme park, so many things, right? Agentic AI is an intent you give through the AI, and it will actually slice out that intent into so many activities, and it will perform those activities with your approval. These are areas we see. And channels, see, AI needs a channel. You're not going to always go and speak to an AI. Channels are the pipe into the AI. And that's where we see RCS as a big opportunity, which will actually transform the behavioral change, transform the way the industry moves forward.
So maybe let's just, RCS is the big theme for today. So let's kind of touch a bit of what with AI injection into the RCS, what are we getting? Yeah.
So, well, I mentioned the idea of using rich interfaces like catalog probably will enhance an enterprise way to personalize products and services.
Okay.
But in a sense, RCS beyond basic and single that we've been talking here a lot, and probably is going to be the first wave here in the US. But in the rest of the world, it's already happening in the conversational space, is going to add that conversational experience that generative AI is able to create from the lens of a human interaction. No? So, for us, the future, and maybe part of the future of internet, is going to go through agents. And it's going to be an agent that is going to interact with a human person, as we've been discussing here, through these channels, RCS or voice, maybe others. But on the other front, there are going to be other agents that are going to interact, like an agent that is going to be tasked to look for a flight ticket, and then it's going to go to internet and going to talk to other agents from other brands, airlines in this case. It's going to come back with a ticket. And obviously, that has to be secure, that has to be verified. But in the end, the delivery channel is going to be a messaging channel, for example, like RCS.
Any thoughts on the RCS, with AI story?
Yeah, see, lot to be done. Today, conversations are very chatty, right? If I say I want to block my credit card or I lost my credit card, it'll come back and ask me a few questions, right? What is your last 4 digits of your credit card? What is your last 4 digits of your social security number? What is your date of birth? Then only it will actually go to the next stage, right? I could say, I lost my credit card ending with this last 4 digits, my social security last 4 digits. I can give a one-sentence answer. As people become conversant, they will do this. Then you are eliminating the chatter. And in the AI, there is a concept called slots. You will skip all the slots. Actually, you will send an SMS to get a OTP so that you can block the card. So these are kind of the improvements we will see happening so that the chatter on the channel is reduced and people become more savvy using it.
Okay. I know we're kind of right at the end of our time here, but I just want to maybe give you guys some takeaway. What we'll be discussing a year from now. What are your thoughts about? Some of the advance or I think we've touched AI in many of our VCon and even the earlier panel. So what should we know now that we should know, and what should we start monitoring and thinking about a year from now? It's an open question. If you don't say I have no idea, this is a crystal ball, that's fine. But have fun with it, yeah.
So I'll take it first. So one of the prediction is we think computing will move towards intent-driven computing, right? We are not going to be, today computers make you work. Even everywhere you have to log in and do a lot of things. So the prediction will be in a year's time, the technology will improve so that it's going to be my intent which is going to matter. And everything will happen around my intent. Instead of me doing everything towards my intent, I state my intent and everything happens around it. That will be a reverse transformation which we feel will happen in the industry as we go along. Let's see whether it happens in a year's time.
Roddy or David?
In my case, clearly I see, probably not 1 year, probably, but people will start thinking more seriously about this. It's like the internet is going to be to some extent disrupted. I call it the Web 4.0, although it's probably not a great analogy because Web 3.0 is more like the distributed ledger, right? And it's different because crypto and things like blockchain. But what I see here is more...
Web 5.
Oh, Web 5. We can call it Web 5. So the future is going to be agents, no? And the interface is going to change. So sometimes you're going to, as you mentioned clearly, intent through voice or through messaging saying, I want to do this, and then somebody's going to take the job on behalf of you. And there's going to be agents that interface with the humans, and there's going to be agents that is going to interface with agents. There's going to be a whole world of different things. So we will start hearing more and more about that. I believe, as in the previous discussion, that Beacon can be a very interesting area because you're not going to know what the agents are going to do on behalf of you. So you will want to know, on behalf of the brands and on behalf of the customers, right? So you want to interrogate them, like saying, hey, what you did on 80% of the time that I was originally chatting with my customers hand to hand, now it's not happening anymore with me, but I want to know what's going on, right? So I believe that these type of technologies are going to be critical in that front.
Roddy, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think there needs to be a whole bunch more like tooling and getting these technologies ready for production. Especially as we talk about like agentic AI or these cases where AI is doing things on your behalf, browsing the internet. It's so easy to imagine these things kind of going rogue and like misinterpreting some instructions. And the way to combat that is to have really good testing, the ability to kind of rein them in. And I really don't see. There's some initiatives happening now, but I think we're at the really early stages of like figuring out how we test and like deploy all this stuff at a production grade. And so I think it's going to be fits and starts. Like I think you're going to see a lot of like bad press as these things go rogue. That's going to like make CTOs and CIOs and CISOs like pretty nervous. So I think it's going to be more gradual than people think.
I do want to wrap up, but I don't know whether we have any question, but otherwise, I think we're ready to hit the poker table, I suppose. Well, some already did. But thank you, guys. I think what I want to say is that this will be a panel that we'll have over and over because, and I will promise you we'll have a packed audience next time. So thanks again, appreciate it. I guess I'll pass the stage to Dario for the wrap up.